Holy shades of gray, Batman! Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And welcome to the animated Batcave. We're here because Dragon and I are on a bit of a little bit, we're a bit of a yin and yang when it comes to Batman, the animated series. We both love Batman, the animated series, but I am a very casual fan, and I'm going through the episodes as we're going through them very chronologically through the first time. Now, Dragon, you are in fact a Batman the Animated Series superfan. I would dare to say you are a scholar of all things Batman the Animated Series. I would dare to say you live and breathe Batman the Animated Series. So who better to take me on this journey through the awesomeness that is Batman the Animated Series and watching most, if not all, of these episodes through for the first time than you, my friend.
Yeah, you see, folks, long ago I made a vow to educate Tiki in the ways of Batman the Animated Series, serving as his spirit guide to Gotham, if you will.
So, with that in mind, today we are going to be talking about the Claw and the Cat.
No, the cat and the claw.
The Cat and the Claw. The Cat and the Claw. My bad. Of course, why would the Claw be up front? It's Catwoman's episode, right?
But not just the Cat and the Claw, the Cat and the Claw, Part 1.
Part 1. Da-da-da. All right, Dragon. So, I gotta say, this episode was really good. It's definitely not the high that something like Heart of Ice is, and I didn't expect it to be. But what I really love in this episode is the action scenes and the use of color. And we'll get to that use of color specifically in a couple scenes that really strike out to me. And just to put it simply, Dragon, as we're going through, I'm really appreciating the whole mini-movie element of this series. And it all feels very fresh. It all feels very, it's a very episodic series. And it doesn't really, there's no flowing narrative or anything. But there's so much theatricality and there's so many cool artistic things at play in each episode that it kind of makes up for it. I'm getting the rhythm down for these things. They're little vignettes, if you will.
Yeah.
So yeah, I gotta say, like I said, I'm really liking this episode a lot. The best thing about it, Dragon, hence my Shades of Grey joke. I didn't say 50 Shades of Grey, okay? I just said Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
I love how Batman and Catwoman's gray blends into the buildings in this episode.
Yeah.
It's such a visually striking thing for me. I don't know what it is. It's just that kind of just awakens some sort of like primal creativity in me. I like it.
Well, I will say it is kind of a nice design thing with Catwoman that, traditionally Catwoman, wearing all black, and the animated series is one of the very rare places where she's wearing gray, which reflects the moral gray that we have with Catwoman in the series.
Yeah, there's all kinds of cool shades of different symbolism you can go for with that.
All right, so let me frame it all for you folks here, and Tiki, just kind of explain what's.
I am like genuinely confused about this thing. So yeah, please.
Confused? Well, okay. So here's
just like how the heck, Dragon. Let me ask you in my Michael Keaton voice, okay? How the heck does an episode 15 or 16 episodes in be the first one aired, and yet the 15th or 16th produced, Dragon? How the heck does that happen?
Right.
Okay, that Michael Keaton thing didn't come off as good as I thought it would. I'm sorry.
Well, essentially, folks, and Tiki, see, here's the thing. So a lot of people are going to, when we get to this episode, I was waiting for this, but when we got to this episode, I have to explain this, because, yes, this was aired first. This episode was aired first, and mainly aired first because of the fact that, we have Catwoman in this episode, and back when they were making this is, trying to capitalize, kind of one of the reasons that kind of pushed the show forward and being made was the Tim Burton Batman series. Mm-hmm. And at that time, this is like in between movies. This is like they were developing this after the first one, and they knew that Batman Returns was being made.
Okay.
So, basically, Penguin and Catwoman were kind of standouts and kind of certain things they wanted to tie into the movies. Again, not like verbatim, but aesthetically. They wanted to tie certain things in the movie. And while On Leather Wings was the first produced, and we're going into this as far as we can tell production order, and this is like the order on the DVDs on Amazon. It's the the Wikipedia. It's always the order in which they are produced, and they were kind of I don't want to say intended to be seen, but they never intended like have Captain Claw be aired first, but it just ended up that way again to capitalize on the movies. So
Makes sense.
anyway. So here's what we got on this episode. We got this episode is directed by the great Kevin Altieri. Kevin Altieri, I want to say did On Leather Wings. We got a lot of Kevin Altieri is one of the artistic Batman directors. He's the guy who really makes kind of the shots really sing. He really kind of makes it all. He makes it all really visually striking. He plays into the kind of the mini movie aspect very well. If Kevin Altieri didn't do the first one, it might have been Boyd Kirkland. But the point is, those two guys are kind of the go-tos for like really kind of the greatly kind of laid out episodes that just animate so well. And in terms of, we got a big writing staff on this, and that's like another thing to highlight with this in terms of the context. So we have kind of a writing team, the same guys that brought us POV and some others.
Okay. Cool.
We have Sean Catherine and The Forgotten as well. That's important. So we have Sean Catherine, with one of Tiki's favorites in The Forgotten.
Boss Biggs.
Yes, Boss Biggs.
Oh my god. I mean, what better Batman villain is there than Boss Biggs, Dragon? I ask you.
I want to say I touched on the Boss Biggs of it all a little bit there, but just I can definitely flesh it out here. So Sean Catherine Derrick, Jules Dennis, Richard Muller, and Laura Bright. They were the four writers who kind of they did the teleplay and the drafts on it, the writing. And Sean Catherine Derrick, she was kind of I don't want to say this in a negative way, but she was somewhat of a in the first season for a few episodes, she was sort of a problem story editor. That doesn't mean she was bad. That just means she had a reoccurring thing about her episodes that was very persistent and noticeable. She always tried to kind of make Batman be about something. I mean that in terms of she really pushed messages and stuff.
Okay, interesting.
That's how we get. Again, we like The Forgotten, but The Forgotten obviously it's talking about homelessness and kind of some stuff, and how we kind of there's a moral and there's a message. It's kind of you can tell that it's like there's a mandate. That's the thing. She's really kind of a mandate writer.
Right.
Like there was like some stuff she wanted to put in the series that they didn't. Like she wanted a lot of environmental messages. Like Batman was going to have recycling in the Batcave.
Oh God! Oh no!
She was really pushing for Ace the Bat Hound, which we eventually got. But again, she was going to try to force it, and they get a lot of stuff. She was just trying to, yeah. So again, the same team who worked on that worked here, and again, their work has been it's been memorable to say the least. And also, she was thinking. The reason for that, she's thinking more in lines of a kid's show than a Batman show, and that's kind of why she didn't really. She wasn't bad, and she worked on some good ones like Nothing to Fear. The first Scarecrow episode. Again, she's a good writer. Just really, I think she had a different vision in mind for the show, which is why she didn't really stick around that long.
Makes sense.
Let's see. Also, Kevin Altieri, I have right here in front of me. I just forgot about it. Yeah, he directed On Leather Wings, POV, and especially the Two-Face episodes, which were fantastic.
Again, looks like he'd be back for the next two-parter as well.
Yes, this is the second two-parter. There aren't a lot of two-parters in Batman. There's like a number you probably count on one hand of two-parters in the animated series. So let's see. Oh yeah, and again, this is really ties into Batman Returns. Hence the blonde Catwoman and the again all of this like under the kind of the Tim Burton kind of darker thing that got the show greenlit. That's kind of what they're going for there. So all that said, you get kind of where the episode's kind of coming from in terms of the context there. I think.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because Batman Returns is very much in this series' DNA. So for sure.
Okay.
All right, so I'm sorry, Dragon. I'm just like the helpless sap kind of trying to go along with your knowledge of all this. Your knowledge is quite impressive. So, all right, so let's get into it. Let's get into the actual episode. And like I said, Dragon, I love the way this episode starts out with first of all, we have the sense of scale, and we also have the colors. This episode just has a fantastic use of colors all the way through, I think.
Yes, we definitely. Here's something since you've been bringing it up to highlight as well is that the Art Deco design, which the animated series is famous for. Again, it's one of the big kind of visual standpoints that really operate on, kind of like the 1930s World Fair look that they've always been operating on, and the elongated buildings painted on the black paper so they kind of disappear in the background, all that stuff. We really get to showcase that with Catwoman, as she climbs up the buildings, as you said. So it's kind of a nice little thing that didn't really occur to me until I was really talking about with you. Is that Yeah, that's kind of a cool thing you can highlight with Catwoman, because we start the episode with her scaling the building with Isis around her neck.
Okay, can we just address this right now and then move on? This
Okay,
is a
first,
very, very awkward name.
just because there's stuff going on in the world, why can't we?
I'm sorry, I just kind of just want to put it out of the air like it's like the elephant in the room gag from Nostalgia Critic. Oh.
The cat was around first. They should change their name.
Oh, God.
Anyway, the point is, we have Catwoman's very faithful cat Isis, who it's kind of a. I don't know how long Isis has been around, but just the the cat
It's
character.
Egyptian mythology, I'm pretty sure.
Well, I know that. I mean, like, I forget if like Isis. There's always been like a cat. I don't know if there's always been a cat in the comics, but in the animated series, they kind of gave her like a little cat assistant.
And it stays the same cat assistant throughout the show.
Yeah, Isis is always like the one who goes in the field,
nice.
like the main cat. Like, do something that I found to be a little bit of a not an issue, but like a noticeable here. Like, she has multiple cats, and I always thought that was a mistake, because we don't want to make her a cat. Like, because literally in this episode, as she's scaling up the walls, we have like a fun visual gag where she sees a cat lady's apartment, like the sleeping cat lady with like a whole bunch of cats, with one really nice piece of jewelry that the Catwoman's going to steal.
So yeah, I mean, I have to say, I do like the consistency of giving her one cat throughout the series. That's a cool concept.
They scaled down.
Like I said, the name is rather unfortunate given today's current political climate.
That had to be like a deep comics pull from the early 40s. I'll bet you.
I'm sure. Yeah, something like that. Or like I said, if anything else, it's just Egyptian mythology and it ties into cats. So ooh. Anyways,
but yeah, it's the later on we're gonna see she's got cat part makes her a little bit like that cat lady. It's like they go less as more.
I mean, that might have something to do with the animated series portrayal of Selena Kyle as well.
Exactly.
So
all right, so yes, let's see. So she's doing some really cool thieving stuff here. She's using her claws to cut a hole, and the hole's just small enough for her little small cat Isis to steal the necklace. We have like the cool little eye bit, and this is a neat thing. I completely forgot about this. It's been a while since I've seen these all the way through. I mean, I don't really know a lot of these like the back of my hand. I mean, I'm sure I forgot if it was in this one, to be honest with you, because we've used Isis a couple times. A cat vision thing, the eyes go cat eye, and she can see like the security systems around the lasers, which makes her a very valuable asset in the field. And I love seeing that's something to benefit from this two parts. I would get to see how Catwoman operates in her thieving skills, contrasting how Batman uses his gadgets to to stop criminals. She has like the claws. She's got the cat who can see through security grid. She's going to have cat caltrops later on. She's got a whole bunch of cool stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And the first like 5 to 10 minutes of the episode is all built around her and Batman, and it's a really good cold open in that way.
That's another great thing we got in this episode. We see a lot of great. We'll get into it a little later on. We get a lot of good contrast between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so job well done. She's going for the exit, and of course, Batman's on the rooftop.
And I just have written down in my notes, this is such a cool use of gray. And then also, awesome close-up.
We have, of course, Batman as the line here. The new cat burglar is a woman. All right. Anyway, so we get to see how Batman and Catwoman meet in this in the animated series. The first time they've met. Again, we're kind of going like the early years of Batman with this. It's not the very beginning. It's not year one by any stretch, but he's kind of meeting a lot of these guys for the first time.
Sure.
And the flirtation begins.
Oh yeah.
So we should also mention Catwoman is voiced by the great Adrienne Barbeau, and very sultry Catwoman, very not elusive, but very enchanting for Batman, I guess.
Oh yeah, I like the voice; it really sticks out.
Yeah, they've always had good chemistry. She and Kevin Conroy. They really over the years they've really had some good stuff. And actually, when Dark Knight Rises came out, one of the I want to say it was Disney XD. They had like a thing where they were playing episodes of Batman the Animated Series, and they might have been before like the rebranding.
Wow, Warner Brothers. I wonder how that came about.
I know, it's weird. They had some sort of
that is really weird.
Here's the thing. I could be misremembering this, but there was like I want to say it might have been JetX. They had something that was very similar to Disney XD. It might have been on the same channel. Then Disney XD eventually bought out that channel, so then they have that channel. I'm not quite certain, but
all right,
it's forget the Disney XD. The point is that there was a thing where they did the thing for Dark Knight Rises where they basically they remade my favorite trailer of Dark Knight Rises, but they used the animated series clips. They were like promoting marathons of Batman the animated series in 2012. And they brought Adrienne Barbeau back. She hasn't done Catwoman in years, and we heard her voicing Kevin Conroy. He's kind of reading the lines from that great trailer from Dark Knight Rises. The whole like, "There's a storm coming," the whole thing there.
How'd they handle Bane?
They didn't use the original actor because again some of they couldn't get, but they used I want to say they used Carlos Alazraqui, he did voice Bane, so that was a good decent casting choice. He didn't do the whole.
But I mean, they didn't do like that's a lovely, lovely, lovely voice.
No.
Okay, just checking.
Anyway, these two really good together. Let's see. So we got some flirtation going on. We got a very Miller-esque shot of Batman. Did you notice that? Like the whole we get that really great close-up of Batman.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about when I said awesome close-up in my notes.
Right. Yeah. It's random, and we really don't do that a lot in the series. It's kind of a wonder.
Well, I think what it is it's basically like the first time that Catwoman sees Batman. So we have to really highlight that moment.
That's cool. I didn't really consider that. Yeah, I could buy that. It's random, but it's cool. Anyway, so then we get a great Kevin Altieri sequence. This is classic. This is classic Altieri here. It was like kind of the forces on the directing, where you get a classic rooftop chase with rooftop scene and chase with Batman, Catwoman. Again, this is stuff we're kind of getting on Gotham these days that we've been kind of. When we gush about it on Gotham, this is the kind of stuff I'm remembering back to, like these two kind of chasing each other on rooftops. The classic Batman, Catwoman.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. This stuff is way better than Gotham, just visually at least.
Right. I'm the same point of origin for my enjoyment of those scenes. This is what I'm thinking of. Like, oh man, it's kind of like this. So let's see. So, of course, then Catwoman thinks she's eluded Batman. But then we have like this great entrance, and again, we continue the banner where hey, it's Batman again.
Mm-hmm.
He does like the bat entrance a lot, and of course, the bat entrance. I never get tired of the bat entrance, the bat exit, where the cat's freaking out. It's great.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, they're having some banter. And this is a rare occurrence, and this is kind of the great thing Catwoman brings out in Batman is that Batman's having fun.
Yeah, and I like that you bring this up because I want to highlight Kevin Conroy's performance in that Catwoman really does throw him off his game, but not in a way where he's like, being bad at his job or anything, but more in the sense that like, you can tell he's just kind of like as you said with the first line, like our new cat burglar's a woman. You know what I mean? It's like Conroy is he's playing it like, Batman's just like, oh, hey, this is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great, it's a great chance of, Batman he's going after a criminal with it's a very low risk workout for him. Where, there's no danger, no one's in peril. It's just he's stealing something, which eventually he's the world's greatest detective. Even if she gets away, he's going to get her again, so it's fine. And it takes me back to Daredevil season 2, and this is kind of stuff I was talking about, Tiki, where the dynamic between Daredevil and Elektra is very derivative. Again, Frank Miller did this with those characters.
Right,
and I'm not saying animated series is 100% Frank Miller, but the classics remain. The kind of relationship that Batman and Catwoman have is similar to kind of Daredevil and Elektra, where they're feeding into kind of this thrill of vigilantism that Batman will never admit that he likes. So, again, like a part of Batman, while he does go out compelled, to avenge his parents and make sure no one, no one is victimized by crime. At the same time, a part of him, he keeps going out, he keeps obsessing over it. Deep down, a part of him likes it. Again, he gets a kind of a joy from doing this, and that's what she brings up. Like, hey, it doesn't have to all be gloom and doom. You can, again, kind of the Nightwing situation where he's a Robin. He's going out like doing good.
Sure.
In this case, the thrill of putting on the tights and chasing down a bad guy and knowing, hey, it's not going to end in murder. So, let's see. We get the fire escape. Get the fire escape descent, which kind of is a cool, again, really good staging using Gotham. That's another cool thing with these Batman Catwoman chases, where you get to really showcase elements, sides of Gotham.
We have a really good scale to the buildings and everything.
Yeah,
it's like Nolan's Gotham. It's like the scale of Nolan's Gotham mixed with the design of Burton Gotham.
Yeah. So let's see. She takes a swipe at him. I gotta trim those claws.
Oh God, okay, hold on. When she takes a swipe at him, I love Conroy's, hey!
Yep.
I'm sorry. That was just like I love the delivery on that.
So look, I gotta admit though. So some of this,
Hey.
yeah, I'll admit this. So this episode, again, part of me wants to say I'm not just putting it all on Sean Catherine Derek. I don't want to put that on on her. But again, these writers, they kind of go a little bit more what's unconventional with Batman. And again, you're right. With a lot of it with the performances, this is Batman's bantering a lot more than he usually does, and that's intentional because again, he's having fun.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, he is I don't know. Some of the lines feel like a little forced flirtation. No, not flirtation, but a little
I
forced.
just wrote down in my notes like puns, 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 puns.
That's the thing. He's very punny, and it's kind of. I think honestly, it's kind of a little bit of the Adam West kind of Julie Newmar Batman thing going on there. It brings out kind of the puns in them.
Kind of seeping through a little bit. I can see that.
A little bit, which just is different for this Batman. Again, it's a kind of rare in the first time, so he's a little off his game. It kind of makes sense, I guess. It's just it's a little different. It sticks out in the rewatch. I'll say that much. Anyway, let's see. So it's following the fire escape bits. It's basically in Catwoman's escape, and also we have the bizarre pyramid of garbage. Gotham has a trash problem. They literally stack their garbage cans like a pyramid because just kicks out one. Batman's buried in garbage.
I think it's the symbolism for the Egyptian thing, Dragon.
Well, sure, but at the same time, it's just oh god, it just shows you how dirty Gotham can be.
Might I just say I love the moment when Batman saves Isis.
I know, right? So Isis
Batman saving a kitty from getting ran over by a car. I mean, that doesn't get more heroic than that.
Again, I'm easy to please sometimes with Batman. Just Batman saving people.
Right,
I'm sold.
right.
I'm there. Saving the cat, and he wins the girl over in doing so. Yes. Rarely does Batman get the girl. In the end, he's not going to get the girl, but rarely does he get the girl.
Spoiler alert, Dragon. We're only on part 1.
Well, I mean, at the end of this one, too.
Okay, right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
At the end of this one, we'll get there. What she does at the end of this episode, it's a reoccurring thing. There's been like 75 years of this, Tiki. It doesn't really get the girl.
All right.
Anyway, so you have the bit where Catwoman uses the cat whistle to summon Isis, but she's very grateful, and they have the reoccurring thing where she blows Batman a kiss. Nice, classy romance.
Thanks for the memento.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're at a celebrity auction, and Dragon, of course. I just have to laugh because it's like Catwoman's first introduction. This is such a damn... I don't know. I think this might have something to do with the writing you were talking about, where it's like it's such a forced way for Selina Kyle and Batman to get together, where literally Batman is putting himself up for auction.
Okay, now, sir, Tiki, this is a real thing that goes on. People do have bachelor auctions where they raise money for charity.
I mean, I believe it. It's a charity auction. Look, I believe that. That's not the thing. What I'm talking about is the convenient timing of it all.
I don't know. I could buy it. Again, Bruce Wayne is doing this sort of thing regularly. Again, for charity, he's very charitable.
I guess. I don't know. I kind of got a chuckle out of it. Like, oh, wow, that's sort of a convenient thing to be going on right after he meets Catwoman.
You got to remember, a lot of it, too, is that, again, we're showing how the parallel of these guys. We're two people who are very similar and very much kind of made for each other. They have dual identities and, dual lives. And, again, they want to help in their other identity in the same time. Again, bear in mind, she's a little bit more... She's stealing for the cause. That's at least the implication in this. I mean, later on, she's going to get more just stealing for the thrill. So I don't know if that's an arc with her or not. When we get down to it, I guess we'll find out. But in this first one, it's implied that she's stealing to raise money for the charity as well.
Right, yeah.
It's unclear why she just might be stealing just for the thrill of it.
The mountain lion thing threw me off, I must admit.
That's what I'm saying. That's the Sean Catherine Derek. That much I will say. Again, that's the environmental.
Yeah, I can see that because it's just
I'm all for the.
You have to protect the mountain lions.
See, that's the thing.
I'm out of Captain Planet, Dragon.
Yeah, I'm all for the bachelor auction because that's something I'd buy Bruce Wayne do, and I like that as kind of how these two meet each other. And the fact that she doesn't really need Bruce Wayne, she's trying to raise money for the charity, and that much of the environmentalist thing I like. But I'm not saying I hate it. I'm just saying it feels. There was a concern when they're making this episode that we don't want to make. They were afraid of tackling an anti-hero with Catwoman. Back in the animated series, especially in the early days, tackling an anti-hero is sort of you don't want to make, you don't want to abdicate crying to children. That's kind of the fine line you walk back in the day when you're putting it on TV.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, they have to make sure she's likable and not too villainous because they can't go full on. The one they can't go, they definitely can't go full on Michelle Pfeiffer because that one that's not Catwoman. Secondly, that's just crazy.
That is not Catwoman.
But
Well, I think
even if
Holly
they,
Berry is definitively not Catwoman.
well, sure. Well, but no, but in all seriousness though, it's like, you know, with a character like Catwoman, again, if you're showing, making what essentially is a kids show, again, like on the bills, it's a kids show. You can't have, hey, America's favorite superheroes fall in love with a criminal. Complexity. They can't really. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to sell to the parents, I guess. So that's why they have to kind of make her an anti-hero instead of well, you know, like, you know, she steals, but you know, she's.
All right, Dragon. I'm chomping at the bits to talk about the colors in this scene. All right.
Yes, yes. Take us through the colors. Going to bachelor option.
I'm a man who loves his color theory when it comes to filmmaking, and this scene just really, really just did it for me when it comes to that. So we have Bruce surrounded by all these blue people, and then well,
remember, he was blue too. Remember, they have the thing where everyone in the scene is blue, and I love it. If you look, you can obviously spot Bruce Wayne right in the middle. It's wonderfully framed.
Right, yeah, you're
and
right.
He raises his hand, you know, like once like the spotlight's on him, everyone else is blue around him. You know, really cool. And we mirror it again, just showing the similarities when we are introduced to Selina Kyle.
Well, I think the introduction to Selina Kyle is really where the color theory comes into play, because that's where we get the shade of the red dress contrasted against the blue, and that's where I really think the color really takes off and pops.
He's very passionate.
Contrasted against the red.
Yeah.
All right.
So of course, Bruce Wayne is the highly anticipated bid of the night by all the women. Let's see, they start the bidding at $500.
It quickly goes up to 1,000.
Well, by the end, it goes up to. Goes up to 10,000.
It quickly goes up to 1,000, but then Selina just kind of comes in. It's like 10,000. Kind of, you want to put the hammer down?
And 10,000 from the beautiful. And yeah, she does look so darn good. Even back then, I like it. Again, Bruce Timm, he learned how to draw women on this show. He really did. The beautiful Selina Kyle, she's introduced, and essentially it's almost love at first sight for Bruce Wayne right off the spot.
I love how, again, with the color theory, I'm sorry, but the blushes on Bruce's face match the red of her dress a little
nice. Bit. Yeah. Yes, and again, I like that Bruce doesn't immediately know that it's her. So again, he's generally fallen for Selina here. Again, on the appearance before he really gets to know her, and he's fallen for her.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so he's warned by like another bachelor, just like another guy who's just attending the function. Just she's a real don't be too flattered. She's a real wildlife. She's a real wildlife nut.
God.
Again, the whole mountain line preservation.
This is a weird kind of turn to take with the Selina Kyle character.
Yeah, again, I'll admit, like, again, Catwoman, again, they have to walk that, like, some episodes they get her more right than others, and when they have to do the environmentalist thing, it's sort of, it's they kind of locked into it sometimes. Like, we started her as an environmentalist, we got to keep going with it. Anyway, let's see. So, of course, the lovely Adrienne Barbeau, she really gets to do a lot of her scenes with Kevin Conroy here. We see, and this is what I'm loving with the parallel between like the reflection they can see in each other. I love that she has her own Alfred. I love that our first introduction to Cat, when we see the similarities she has to Batman. She's like
I didn't really think about that character in terms of an Alfred, but I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, Maven is absolutely Selina's Alfred. She's very much kind of her friend, her confidant. She knows that she goes as Catwoman. We see in episode 2, we're going to get a really great scene where we see that's very visually directly shown to us, the audience. I won't get into it now. Let's see. So, again, Bruce is intrigued by her. At the very least, again, whether he's the head over heels, he's intrigued by her. That's an impressive act to intrigue Batman.
Dragon, would you say she seems like a nice girl?
She seems like a nice girl. We know she's a complex girl, but she definitely seems like a nice girl.
Dragon, what would Norman's reaction to Selina be upon finding out she's Catwoman?
I don't think you're a nice girl.
I don't think you're a nice girl. All right, I'm sorry, folks. We're kind of like, we're still going off of the Bates Motel withdrawal here. Anyways. All
Okay,
right.
let's see. So, and again, this is really, and this is a great scene here of Bruce again, with the blushing comes into play. Where, Bruce is intrigued by her, and despite being, let off the hook, he says, "Oh no, no, don't worry about it, Mr. Wayne. I just want to make sure I got the money in for the charity. You can go about your business."
Sure, sure.
And again, he gets her on the hook there, and he says, he says, and this is that's so adorable, seeing how bashful and how corny Bruce
Uh,
is in this scene. This is what I'm talking. This is like fun
that's what
seeing
I'm saying.
Batman
Like
act.
bashful and corny Batman is kind of like the corny side of this episode that I like.
I know, right? That's the thing. Some of his lines don't hold. Again, I'm not saying they're bad. They don't hold up as well as they used to. But here is again, I love just it's so nice to see again because at the end of the day, Bruce is just a mask for Batman. But Bruce was once Batman way back when. So it's kind of nice to see that guy come out a little here.
Mhm.
He bashfully says he's honor bound and delighted to fulfill their date. And she agrees to lunch, and yep, and I love this. So then he hears sirens and machine gun fire on the outside, and then she turns around, pulls a bat exit, and he's
Yeah,
gone.
yeah. That's one of like two or three really good bad exits in this episode, I think.
Oh yeah. Okay, and we get a really cool action sequence here. You get good old Kevin
I have
Altieri
written
action.
down in my notes this feels straight out of Fleischer Superman.
Yeah, again, see, it's the Batman equivalent to Flesh or Superman in a way. It's like, hey, if it didn't bounce off of you, well, how would you go about it?
Right, right, right. Yeah.
So essentially, I'll give you the rundown here. We got a truck filled with military weapons being hijacked. Importantly, military weapons being hijacked for a reason. A little plot point, a little crumb, if you will. We got the police chasing them. It's a really good chase even before Batman shows up, to be honest. And then Batman jumps on the truck. Oh boy, is that cool! He jumps on the truck, and he's messing with the steering wheel, and with one arm he's grabbing, he's swerving to make sure they
Again,
can't.
visually, this is like a really, really striking scene. I think by far the best part about this episode is the visuals.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and Kevin Altieri is one of their he does the Robin origin episodes. When we get down, that's one of the most famous episodes of Batman. Again, with his direct, he's the out of all of them, I don't know, he might be the best who does the mini movie aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right, let's see. So so he's jumping on, he's messing with the steering wheel to make sure they're kind of not firing at the cops or the people, and then eventually he kind of flips the truck over with the wheel, gets it on two wheels and it's flipped over. He makes sure the driver gets away. The driver gets away through the sewer, and importantly, that guy's going to come back. We're going to find out who his boss is. The gunmen are arrested, and now this is something in retrospect I completely forgot about. But I love these scenes. I forgot this was in context going through them one by one. I forgot this is the first time we really did this.
Really, it's the first one.
Well, I'm double checking here. Oh yeah, this is the first meeting scene. This is like one of the first. They've had scenes, but they've never. Honestly, I don't know. I'm trying to think. This might be the first scene actually. I'm losing myself here. Anyway, see, this is pre-bat signal. They didn't have the bat signal. They don't get the bat signal till season 2.
Okay.
And because they were really trying to kind of avoid the bat signal at all costs, and eventually realized, we got to do the bat signal because they were trying to make sure it wasn't like the '60s Batman where he could call him instantly and he'd be there. So they really wanted to go very year one with it.
Makes sense.
And it was this is early in Batman and Jim Gordon's their partnership. So again, I'm pretty sure. Thinking back to it, we have not even gotten. I know we haven't gotten a meeting scene, but I'm trying to think. I don't even know if they've had any scenes together. To be honest.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that you've talked about the Gordon in this series at some point during the animated Batcave.
Well, yeah, we had POV. Gordon was in that episode, but he's been in episodes, but he hasn't really interacted with Batman yet.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
So, all right. So yeah, this is a big first time thing then.
The closest thing would be if I'm forgetting a scene in Two-Face, which it's Bruce Wayne instead of Batman having scenes with Gordon, if anything. I don't know if we've had any real Batman Gordon scenes. This is the first meeting scene and might be the first scene period these two have had together.
Okay, cool, cool.
Which is cool in retrospect.
Oh yeah.
All right. Anyway, so yes, so we have I love the scenes we have in these two episodes with these two guys. So yeah, we have the pre-Batman Gordon scene here, and I just love the first line out of Gordon's. I think my favorite of all Jim Gordon. This is where honestly this show is where I fell in love with Jim Gordon, and we have Bob Hastings as Commissioner Gordon here, and this is like kind of stuff I lived on.
The design of this Gordon is just so iconic, and it's perfect.
I was so excited last year when.
I know. You've told me this story.
Yeah, I got the animated series line of, at least the animated series line of action figures I basically, as a kid, I would have died for.
Mm.
And never had they released the Jim Gordon, and now I finally have the animated this Gordon, this exact Gordon that I fell in love with. I finally have him. He's in my little display case. Yep, right next to the other Jim Gordons.
Right, right.
Anyway, okay, let's see. So the point is, we got a really good meeting scene. The first line he says is "Thanks, friend." Like, yes, that's the kind of stuff I love about these meeting scenes because he knows, and this is so nice to you. He knows that Gordon knows that Batman's there, and he doesn't even look back. He just says "Thanks, friend," because the idea is having like a regular thing where Batman will just they'll go off to like an alley on the side where no one's paying attention. Like after all the stuff's gone down, and he knows that Batman's in the sheds.
That makes sense. That makes sense. So basically, like after every thing with Batman, after every big big takedown with him or anything, Gordon's basically gonna they just kind of have the silent agreement to just kind of like check in and touch base.
Yes,
essentially.
Yeah, I remember.
That's really cool. I like that.
One of these days we might go through it. I'm not going to make any promises, but I remember I had this Justice League pitch that basically kind of had this sort of scene in there where Batman and Gordon would have like a scene direct. I don't know. I'm sorry, not the Justice League. My pitch for Batman v Superman back before we knew anything.
Oh, God,
it was going to open with a Batman thing, and then it was going to basically the hey and Metropolis with with Batman Gordon, and Gordon will like throw a newspaper on the hood of a car or something, then we'll transition to Metropolis. The point is, I love these sort of scenes. Anyway, so the conversation is, Batman, they're kind of checking in with each other. He tells, and this is classic stuff here, he tells Batman, the feds have warned the GCPD that Red Claw, a terrorist leader, is in Gotham. They have nothing, basically they're really hearing nothing on it. Nothing on, they can't, basically there's nothing on the guy. They can't find the guy, being the operative word guy. So yes, of course, it's Gordon having a very classic distrust of the feds. The animated series Gordon is very much, he's a blue collar cop who was promoted to the white collar job that he really doesn't love that much. So he's very much kind of like your beat cop's take on a federal agent. He never trust the feds. Very classic cop thing. So anyway, so ask Batman if he can dig anything up on Red Claw. He says, I'll see what I can do on my end, and then we have a bat exit. Really, really cool. And
I love this bat exit because it's basically just Batman using the grappling gun to just fly away.
This scene hits like my favorite. We got a bat exit, we have Gordon, and of course we have my favorite Batman gadget, the grappling gun from the animated series being used. It hits me on all the right spots. And then we have, again, this is a bit mandated, but it's still kind of cool. I don't know. It's Gordon saying, well, you just walk, and I love it. He doesn't turn back because he knows Batman's going. He doesn't need to turn back. He walks forward and he says, it's a very serious note of like, well, that basically saying, it's a good thing you're on the case because who knows what's going to go on with these savages in town. There's a very anti-terrorist message in the episode as well. So, all right, big trouble for Gotham. That's what these savages in town means. Big trouble for Gotham. Okay, Selena.
Yeah, she's not looking forward to the date. Like you said, she kind of just threw in the money for the charity, and Bruce kind of strong-armed her into it. So,
but he's so darn charming. How can you say no to him?
After all, in our heads, he would be played by Dylan Massett, or I'm sorry, Max Terriot.
All right.
I'm sorry.
I was gonna. God, if you forgot that guy's name.
No, but in our headcanon, young Bruce Wayne would be played by Max Terriot, and who can't resist the charms of Max Terriot?
True.
Anyways,
of course, we see Selena's apartment. Again, a little heavy on the cats. Again, why don't we just have the one cat? I don't get it anyway. Again, we get it. She's Catwoman. Just give her the main cat.
I hear you.
Anyway, let's see. So, she's preparing for a date reluctantly. Maven's, Maven's saying, well, why aren't you getting excited? It's Bruce Wayne. Everyone loves Bruce Wayne. And then, of course, Selena here airing. And again, this shows, again, Maven knows what she's doing. I'd rather it be Batman. Again, really intrigued by that. He was magnificent. She's head over heels for the guy. Not Bruce Wayne. Of course, there's some irony there. She loves Batman, but not Bruce Wayne. So Selena's stuck with the date. She's looking on the bright side.
I wish it were Batman standing behind the door.
I love that game. That's the thing. Again, we have some fun corniness.
No, I like that too. I like that too.
Again, it feels like old Hollywood. A lot of this does. Again, that's kind of the great thing with these kind of the mini movie kind of feel with the animated series. You get some old Hollywood in there. It feels very kind of universal era Hollywood.
I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah, like look on the bright side. He has connections, Selena. Oh, sure, I still wish his Batman on the other side of the story. I have a great again. There's a good color reveal of Bruce. You know, he's in shadow, and then like we reveal, hey, it's Bruce Wayne. But again, the fact that we obscure him like Batman, then hey, it's Bruce Wayne. Okay, Selena. Now, meanwhile, you know, as Maven or someone's getting the door, Selena's interrupted by a phone call. She's on the phone with her lawyer, who's dealing with the whole multi-gun thing. Basically, she's trying to get the land for the she's trying to secure the land for the Mountain Lion Preserve that money for charity was going to, but Multigon, this other.
Can I just say I love the name Multi-Gun.
Yeah, it is pretty.
It's gotta be what it is, right?
I gotta tell you,
oh, the bad guys aren't just one gun; they're multi-gun.
You know, I gotta tell you,
guns are bad. Ooh.
I'm a little embarrassed, but I never put it together that multi-gun might have just been like Red Claw's lazy way of saying, "Hey, I'm a terrorist, multi-gun."
That's pretty much. That's that's kind of how I put it together.
I never put it together. I feel so
multi-gun.
Writing was on the wall. Could add a V8. Anyway, let's see. So basically, she's trying to secure land, but she's getting into kind of like a bidding war with Multigon. Like they have basically they have like all the shares or whatever, you know, finances. But the point is like they're about to secure the land. And Selena's really peeved about it because again, that land belongs to the Mountain Lions.
Mountain Lions, darn it!
So yeah, Selena's upset, and she points out, you know, probably not going to be sorry. She apologizes to Bruce, which is nice. You know, she's really nice to Bruce. He's like, I do
like that. I do like that. She's kind of like, you know, she's openly like, look, I'm not going to be good company tonight, and I'm like, yeah, I hear you. I've had days like that.
Then Bruce asks if he can help in any way, and then she very, you know, sardonically says, not unless you can get a meeting with the chairman of Multigun International. Again, like not thinking in a million years he'd be able to swing that. And he just picks up the phone. What time? She has the great line to Maven, I'm starting to like this guy. Oh, yeah. And we have a really fun Bruce Wayne moment at the end of this scene here. Let's get to this. But now we're in Multigun Tower.
Multigun Tower.
So this place is basically, if I'm right, the resort is either being built in the... No, it's I guess it's a... No, we're going to a different site later on. It's a different location. I thought it might have been the same place for both of us. No, it's... Anyways, we're just going to Multigun headquarters, which does house important stuff, but not everything. We're at the Multigun Tower. Essentially, I love the first introduction we get to this place. It shows you, oh man, Catwoman's going to hate this place. We have mounted heads on the wall all over the place.
Yeah, it's pretty creepy.
Again, it's kind of like that scene.
Can I just say, like, is it bad that this scene reminds me of the Emperor's New Groove?
I didn't really get any of that from it.
Well, think about it. It's like the giant model of what's going to be replacing a really scenic and natural landscape.
Oh, yeah, now I can see it now. Okay, I got you.
I don't know. It's just the model.
Right. But also let's see, well, I'm just saying, you know, models are cool. I like using models.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, every time honestly, when I think of the model, well, no, I don't think of that anymore. I don't want to drag us into a tangent. Let's just keep going. So,
I appreciate that.
I was going to go on a Rugrats tangent. It's not important.
Oh, hold on, Dragon. You don't have to go into the tangent, but I know exactly what you're talking about. All right,
the folks back there is just the cookie model. That's all I'm going to say. Cookie model.
Yeah, just nod and agree if you member. Oh yeah, I remember. Anyways, okay.
Anyway, honestly, the heads man on the wall kind of reminds you a little bit of Ace Ventura too, with like, you know, him freaking out. What a lovely room of death you have, you know, that sort of.
I'm gonna skip ahead just a little bit just to get to the design of it, but Dragon, I really love later on the close up of that elephant head and the camera inside of it, like inside the eye socket.
Yeah,
like I don't know. There's just something. It's cool, kind of like, you know, like cyberpunk or something like that. It's a really cool motif. Anyway,
so we meet Stern. Stern's kind of our let's just say our intermediary yuppie for our bad guy. But, you know, Stern's is kind of the head of Multigun and the CEO. Promoted. Stern informs him there's nothing he can do. He plays Ode to Joy, which basically reveals the model that Ode to Joy is going to be important. Again, like little code for the little model.
I really love the piano code.
Yeah. Hans Gruber would love that.
Right, right.
Selena's outraged because the land is in the middle. And again, she's making a very valid point. I love knowing on the rewatch, knowing exactly how much sense this makes. She's outraged because this land is in the middle of nowhere. So, why build? Basically, it's perfect for mountains. It is perfect if you're going to do something. Again, it's not really scenic anywhere. There's not really anything to do. It's just okay. There's a
It's
neighboring.
Fuscotopia, Dragon.
Sure.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
The point is, it's like the mountain line, again, it's space for wildlife, and just you're doing a lot of unnecessary stuff. Why not just kind of let it be as it is, and you can do something good with it instead of just, basically build a resort anywhere. Why do it here?
Right, right.
So and she's starting to really go off on the guy. Bruce is
To be
raining
honest
her.
with you, that was kind of like one of the flaws of the episode for me, is that the villain motive is kind of weak.
Well, remember, it's a cover, Tiki, man. We know what the actual motive is.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's the thing. That's the point. It's like it's fishy. That's why it's like it makes no sense, and that's the point. Like, okay, it's obviously a cover up. We're just gonna put Selena on the
Yeah,
side.
that's true. That's true.
Anyways, I love that Bruce is reigning again. Again, even as Bruce Wayne, he's exercising a lot of Batman control. That's kind of the great thing of the animated series. We get a really different Bruce Wayne. He's like not entirely the playboy, but at the same time, he's kind of a cross between the playboy and the businessman.
I could see that. Yeah.
So Stern assures her very menacingly that her wild cats will be taken care of one way or another.
Oh boy.
She says, "I'm not finished." She really kind of lets him have. She's not finished with I'm not finished with you or this. I'm gonna by the time I'm done with this, there are gonna be activist groups breathing down your neck. Basically you're gonna feel like a blood. Sorry, you're gonna feel like a bug in a bell jar. And then here's the line that is my favorite. Honestly, this is my favorite part of the episode. It cracks me up every time. It's one of the memorable things in the episode. Sure, the Gordon, I'll admit, remembering the context of the Batman Gordon stuff, I'll admit, yeah, I like that. If I had to pick one thing. Second thing, though, would probably be this, is Bruce Wayne, after she storms out of the room, just him saying so. Kevin Conroy, again, doing the great thing he does of Bruce Wayne, he makes him all happy-go-lucky in the day, and and not so much at night. He just says, have a nice day. Yeah, that's where you get that great thing. The first time we ever had really a difference in the Batman performances, again, really shines here. Again, we get to see him figuring out in the beginning like this. Really cool.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's cool.
Anyway, we have a really convenient. This is convenient. So the minute they leave, then we have the dramatic Red Claw reveal.
Yeah, okay, the Red Claw thing in itself is kind of like, I don't know.
You're not alone, Dig. It's like not a lot of people are thrilled with Red Claw. It's,
Good. I'm glad I'm not alone.
Red Claw's not like a reoccurring thing. Basically, she has this two-part, and she has one other episode. I like the other episode better. I think it's kind of like it's her squaring off against Alfred, and it's really cool. So, I know it sounds a little random, but just give it time. Anyway, the point is just I think Red Claw's later appearance is more kind of terroristy and kind of more in line with what you probably should be. But here it's just like you're introducing her and they get like, hey, we have Catwoman, but Catwoman's not really the bad guy of this, and we can't. As much as we love to do kind of the relationship between these two, we have to have like a bad guy. That's kind of why Red Claw, and Red Claw is an original creation, by the way, just for this show.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
And again, it's like, okay, well, she's a terrorist, but not just a terrorist.
She's the truth. She kind of just feels like a ripoff of Elektra.
Well, Tia, more of look, not really of characterization.
Well, I don't know. Just going off of like she's the leader of like a terrorist organization. I know Elektra was the leader of the Hand for a long time in the comics.
Well, I don't want to get into the whole Hand thing. I think that differs a little bit, but tomato. Anyway, so Red Claw says keep eyes on her. She's nosing around here. If she makes another threat, just make sure we keep eyes on her in the meantime. It's a very operative thing. Keep eyes on her. And Bruce apologizes for not being much help, but Selena did take the positive from this, and now she knows she now knows there's a cover story. Now she's going to look into it. She's asking for a rain check for their date again. Oh boy, it's like every time these two kids want to get together for a date, something always intervenes.
It's like Luke and Claire.
Yeah, why can't Luke Cage get coffee?
Well, at least in season 1 of this show.
Yeah.
Anyways, Dragon, let's pick up the pace of this a little bit.
Okay. Basically, it's they say okay for tomorrow. They're working. they're both working late tonight. Actually, I plan on working late myself. And again, the great little parallel here, the both of them working late is them doing costume stuff on the same night.
Yeah, that is a good kind of transition into the next act, if you will.
All right, so
Uh,
since Batman got the last word, we're going to start with him.
Now we've had great bat exits, Dragon, but I love this bat entrance. So we have a
Oh,
bunch
yeah.
of mobsters around the table, kind of talking about cutting into the gambling operation and whatnot, and then Batman freaking just launches the grappling hook into the table and crashes down to the table. I mean, that's really cool.
I'll say this much, Tiki. In Batman Mask of the Phantasm,
Oh God,
they do the, again, this is your average scene, which is good, and you like it, right?
yes, yes,
They do the best one ever in Phantasm.
okay, I believe
Well,
you.
basically, they do the perfected, they do the blue meth version of this.
Oh God.
Yeah, if you like this, you're gonna love the one in Phantasm.
All
Oh
right,
boy, I'll say
all
that much. Anyway, I'm just getting jazzed. So
right.
let's see. So yeah, so Batman drops in on the mob meeting. The He grabs the leader. And of course they all aim their weapons. Of course, you're gonna hit the leader, so they can't do anything. He's asking about Red Claw. He's like, he just grabs Crime by the lapels and shakes until he gets answers. That's Batman for you. You know,
And it's not like intense, like over the top, like garbly mouth Christian Bale Batman. You know what I
it's
mean?
still Kevin Conroy
Like
figuring
he's
in.
intimidating, but he's intimidating in like a classy kind of way.
Yes, and Conroy and the Arkham games really get to this. Especially, we had to see varying methods of interrogation with Batman in the games, but throughout the series, I mean, just on the grand scheme of like, all the stuff he's done as Batman, his interrogations have been refined and gotten better over the years. So this is the
I
very
like the
beginnings.
idea that Batman uses different interrogation tactics for different people. That's
Certainly,
really
certainly.
interesting.
Again, it's like kind of also Conroy figuring it out, like how to sound intimidating, how to like
Sure,
question a guy. So at the very least, again, visually, you have a lot of cool stuff. You're just shaking the guy in front of all of them.
sure.
I want Red Claw. He says, we're not terrorists, but you're still scum, and you hear things that I don't. And until I get him, I'm leaning on you extra hard, and you and the other bosses extra hard. And if you think I've been bad news before, I get it, I get it. And Batman makes his exit, of course.
Mm.
Meanwhile, Catwoman, she breaks into Stern's office in the middle of the night to do some digging on Multigon. Again, both had the same meeting, but working late. Red Claw, meanwhile, is also having a meeting. She's
Very
Red Claw's
conveniently.
Red Claw's having a meeting about the big train heist we're going to see next episode.
Dragon, can I just say I love the awkward guy who randomly walks in
That's
and
Stern.
interrupts?
That's Stern, remember?
Right, yeah, okay. But I just love the timing of that, though.
I love he just looks, he gives like that goofy smile.
Right,
Like,
right.
sorry to interrupt.
Like that kind of like goofy little touch is something that's missing from cartoons these days. Like
Exactly.
that sort of like subtle timing.
Oh, yeah. Okay, basically, what they're after on this train heist is a viral plague so they can hold the city hostage and hold the city for ransom.
Now, bioterrorism is no joke, folks.
It isn't. So this viral plague, basically Interpol confiscated it from Red Claw's lab overseas, and that's why it's like going on a train through Gotham. That's kind of what the feds are keeping from Gordon. And again, Gordon's going to try to sweat the feds a little. If he hasn't done that already, he's going to do that definitely later. I'm trying to remember when he sweats the feds, but it's not a big scene or anything. He mentions he's going to do that. So. Anyway, yeah. So they were then Selena. Let's see. So basically, while that meeting's going on about the plague heist. Selena's playing "Ode to Joy" on the kind of the secret piano.
Remind me to thank Mama for the piano lessons.
Yep.
Honestly, Dragon, that might be my favorite line in the episode.
I gotta tell you that I like better than the stuff with Michelle Pfeiffer when she's like her when we do the stuff with Catwoman's mother in Batman Returns, like the mother's like, and Selena, I hope you're meeting someone while you're out there, and it's
As
we had.
I really love the creepy camera and the elephant eye.
Yeah.
All right.
I was saying, it's like that we're just kind of mentioning the mother instead of like being they could really by the numbers of the mother. Okay, it's the overprotective mother. Selena kind of living such a sad life of being single, different than there. Anyway, yeah, she plays it and basically she shows off a little and she finishes it, and in doing so, she unlocks the secret vault.
Ooh.
filled with multi-gun secrets. She's taking pictures of, basically getting some intel with a little. Again, I love them. I love the old spy cameras. The Batman has one of these too, and I like the fact she has one. The little spy cameras, nice little, old old school touch. And yes, so the camera that Tiki's been bolstering up, the camera catches her,
I'm sorry, I
and
just
the
love the
alarm goes.
contrast of the elephant skull and the technology. It's so cool.
It's
Like
cool. It's
it
cool.
sounds like it feels like a hard rock album cover.
That's so basically, that camera captures it, and then basically it alerts regularly. A little light goes off, and she sees, okay, someone's breaking in, someone's accessed the vault. She's gonna look at, okay, it's a cat. They're putting an end to her 9 lives. We see Catwoman. She pulls an exit as the men enter the room.
Oh, I love this. This is both really creative and really painful.
Oh yeah, so yeah, she's
The
crawling
cat
in
spikes.
they're cat caltropes.
Okay, okay,
See,
sure.
basically, you throw these things in front of tires. It's like nails you throw
Right,
in the
right.
roads. That's basically these are themed though. These are like not Batman just has caltropes. She has cat caltropes.
Come on, Batman, step up your game. Step up your branding, bro.
Anyway, let's see. So she is yeah, she's pursued by gunmen who are they're trying to go through the vents of the chaser, and like they're crawling through, like he's stuck with a bunch of them. Like you just crawling onto a whole bunch of them. She climbs the elevator shaft to the roof.
Mm-hmm.
Catwoman leaps across, a great distance to the neighboring rooftop. Just misses it because it's a big distance. Because Multigon's a really tall place. Again, we've seen her like kind of leap from rooftop to rooftop, but not to like from a tall one to a lower one.
And I just have written down on my notes, Batman save in 5, 4.
Well, Red Cole, she has this really sweet kind of like mini grenade launcher. It has like an explosive round, which basically, as she lands on the roof, the cat's safe. Don't worry, folks. The cat's always safe. It basically blows a piece of roof off, and she's falling. And then we get that great Art Deco shot. And this is the stuff Tiki's talking about. Like again, it really showcases the city here when she's falling. And again, it's like she's a goner. She's doing her whip. She can't use it as a grappling gun at this angle. She's a goner, and then swooping in Batman.
Da, 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 da.
Batman catches her. They share a kiss, and the surprise on Batman's face because again, it's a rarity.
That's what I'm
Something
talking about, man. Like, Batman's so adorably thrown off his game in this episode.
again, the first time he meets Catwoman, it's bound to happen. Yeah, and
Gunfire is an occupational hazard.
she says that was for saving my cat. Oh, by the way, so we don't forget about it here, because I should mention this way at the beginning. I love the score that we have with Catwoman. Catwoman has a really good theme.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you bring that up. Yeah, it is a very distinct score.
I
Which
want to
is,
say
again, something that the animated series, from what I've seen so far, really excels at.
I see a lot of people just they umbrella all the great score Batman the animated series under Shirley Walker, and that is deserved. But at the same time, Shirley Walker worked with a team of different guys, so it might have been any of them who did this instead of her. But the point is that Shirley Walker, maybe it's Mike McQuistion. He's one of my favorite guys who worked on it. But it's the whole Shirley Walker theme. That's what everyone's kind of umbrellas it under. So, anyways, want to make sure I got that. Anyway, so we have the save, and they kind of again making a little bit of banter there, asking that I heard gunfire. Occupational hazard. We have the scene where Batman is trying to unmask her, and I love how this scene comes back in the second episode. We reference this scene. We show the ultimate outcome of this scene in the next episode. But right here, he's about to unmask her, and she keeps the mask on and saying, like, no, let's not. Basically saying, hey, let's not do this. Let's keep
the mystery.
And again, there's kind of a sad, kind of romantic sense here. Like, hey, let's just keep this our alter egos here. Like, let's keep our alter egos out of this. Let's just, go with like our personas. Like, these are our true faces here, man. Like, we live for the vigilantism here. We live for kind of the thrill of it. It's if we know who each other are, it just kind of kills the thrill of it.
Mm.
And then he has this great line that I love how this comes back. If it's not me, it's going to be the police. There's something between us. I know, and it's the law. I'm sorry. And this is what I'm talking about here, where she throws him off the roof. Again, things don't usually end up well romantically with Batman, unfortunately. So, again, he's being real genuine. I'm sorry. It's not as bad as the whole, but I'm a woman. He doesn't hit her, and then she says that. It's like, and she throws him off the roof.
Never trifle with the affections of a woman. Until next time, Batman, and there will be a next time.
Oh no, the Batman has that line. That's great. Yeah,
Oh
that's
yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
yeah. So I love how he caught himself on the way down. By the way, that was just awesome. I don't care if it's physically possible or not. He's Batman, darn it. He catches himself on the way down. There's that just again, it's a really great shot. Just him looking up, and there will be a next time.
Mhm.
Okay, so Selena returns to her apartment. Again, this is like kind of the Alfred of all here. Returns, unmasks herself, puts the robe on, tells tells Maven, I don't know, I keep saying Mavis, tells Maven about the military facility that she caught a glimpse of, which is going to be our set piece for episode 2, for part 2. Let's see. It's under the land. That's why Multigon wants it. There's a military facility underneath the land, which of course is going to be very important. But while she's saying this, and again, she's kind of digging her own grave by saying this to Maven, she's being monitored and listened to by one of Red Claw's men, who says, "I'm going to save those. I'm going to save those mountain lions yet." And then he has the line, "But who's going to save you?"
No, I think he specifically says, "You can save the mountain lions, but who's going to save you?" Da da da.
Mini spoiler: it's going to be Batman.
No. Perfect.
Yep.
Oh man,
End of
Dragon! I
part 1.
love how it ends on such a dramatic line about mountain lions.
But Tiki, what about the mountain lions?
I don't know, Dragon. What about the mountain lions? Anyways, final thoughts, Dragon.
Final thoughts.
Can I go first?
Yeah, go first. Go on.
I'm like raising my hand like a little kid in school.
All right, I thought you were going first. Go on.
Okay. Yeah, so like I said, visually, I love this episode. Just pretty much every scene is very striking. The scale, the color, how the gray blends in with the buildings. Like I said, the blue and the red. I mean, like everything. It's just a visual powerhouse of an episode. Like I said, the only thing is like story-wise, it's a little... It's not weak. It's just not the best story-wise that we've seen in the animated series. And keep in mind, folks, we're coming off of a high that is hard to fight. So, kind of hard to live up to something like that. But I don't know. I just think the mountain lion thing and the terrorist group, it's a little silly. And quite frankly, Catwoman going up with a terrorist group with a cat named Isis is just like, oh boy, that's, yeah. But other than that, like I said, just visually, I'm really starting to get the rhythm of the whole like mini movie, like, the artistic side of this series. It's really starting to do it for me.
All right. For me, this is a fun show. This episode to me, and honestly with the two-parter, but let's just focus on the first part for now, is it's a fun showcase of Bruce Wayne and kind of the dual identity of it all here. Where these two are kind of a star-crossed couple where, again, if they knew each other's secret, it's hard to tell what would happen with them. It's fun to see the parallels, and I really like that in the writing and the storytelling. We see kind of what the two of them are doing, kind of while the other one, they have this secret part of their lives, and kind of how they're kind of managing that, and how like they can't, like they're so close to kind of having a life together, but at the same time, it's. I don't want to make it sound again, but I don't make it sound like they're moving too fast because they did just meet. But I'm saying the fact that these two people are very similar and they are kind of made for each other. But at the same time, it's like, again, broad daylight. Selena Kyle just views Bruce Wayne as a friend, but at the same time, she's romantically inclined with Batman. But they don't know in those parts of their lives that kind of that moral gray, just that doing it for the thrill. It's just it's not a combination that's fated to end well.
Mm-hmm.
And they showcased that well. And again, I got some fun Bruce stuff. Again, a lot of really cool Batman Jim Gordon scenes, which again I want to say is the first kind of use of that, which I was really thrilled by. I think again, really good kind of introduction for that kind of dynamic. This episode's mostly set up than the second one. Second one has a lot of payoff, really good payoff. It has some good payoff. I don't want to overblow it. But yeah, first part's mostly set up. Dialogue's a little iffy with an agenda. Again, we have two agendas with this. We have one for the environmental thing with the mountain lions. And the second one, which we've gotten a bit of here, we're going to get really heavy on the next one with Red Claw, the fact that there's a bit of a feministic agenda here. I'm not going to make any moral platitudes, but the fact is they just, we have lines in there saying never trifle with the affections of a woman, and the whole Red Claw's gonna have a really on the nose bit in the next one.
Okay, okay.
The point is we have some agendas and it shows, but aside
I
from
just
that,
think Red Claw in general is a very on the nose character. So
I guess the third one would be the terrorism. Yeah, we're getting a little it's a little on the nose with the writing, but the characterization's fun. So I take
Golly G. Willikers, G.I. Joe, we need to fight terrorists who are against the environment.
And the mountain lions.
Yes, yes.
But seriously, there's stronger on the characterization than the story, but on I think works better as a whole. But we'll see how it goes in the second one.
All right. Why don't you give us a taste of what's to come, Dragon?
All right, folks. Get a little Bill Dozier mode here. Terrorist on a train. Love on the brain. Can Batman stop a plague from hitting Gotham? Will Bruce and Selina finally go on their date? What about the mountain lions? Find out. Same animated bat time, same animated bat place.
Next visit to the animated Batcave with The Cat and the Claw, Part 2.
Have a nice day.
But what about the mountain lions?